want to slide it up more a little bit. There you go.
ready to try this bike?
You sure?
I don't care.
All right.
Just remember, it's got power. I know you're on a 400. It's only a 450.
Yeah. Oh, this starts. Nothing. Just, there you go. There you go. That's it. Just gotta feel it.
I just broke it.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Alright, no problem.
Go ahead and ride my bike. Have some fun on it.
No, hold on.
It's broken. Does it have electric start?
Let me see. It was, I saw the crack on Sunday, so don't worry about it. forgetting you have a stand.
All bikes should have stands. Like I'm like super damn nervous that the cops are gonna show up anytime.
Oh, you think so?
I mean, I ain't really super worried about it. I mean, if they come here and we're still here, then they can tell me like, hey, you shouldn't be back here, blah 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 blah. Like I don't think I'm gonna get arrested. I don't see
No, I don't think so.
I don't see any no trespassing signs
Especially,
anywhere.
especially if it's not private.
And from what I understand, like the city or the county bought the land. There's no, let's say I don't know. I would just say I don't know what the status is. I just know it's vacant. But
So, couple of things. I noticed your suspension is like triple stiffness of mine. Is it the? I mean, you're at the right suspension setting because of your size and the bike, or the type of riding? What is it?
part of that is just the difference between this bike and your bike, because mine's stock.
Okay.
That's pure stock.
Pure stock.
The only thing not stock about mine is the rear spring's a little heavier for my weight.
Okay.
Like how much do you weigh?
175.
Yeah, so if you bought my bike, you would want to go a little bit softer rear spring. That spring's made for somebody that's like 185 to 205.
Gotcha.
So spring's a little bit too stiff.
So yeah, so this will feel a lot softer for you than for me.
Yeah. Like that's like a whole different generation of motorcycle. Like that's current state of the art.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's not good, but that's like late 80s, early 90s bike. I mean, everything about it. Like my seat's flat all
Yes.
the way across, and yours is like this. Like it goes way up in the front and way up in the back.
Yes.
And if you get stuck in one spot on it, really. And that's how all the bikes used to be back then, you know? Your bars are closer, I feel like. Like your bars are a little bit further back.
Right.
Like if you were
Like
to drop
the settings or the actual bar itself.
like it just seems like if you were to make a mark on the ground like where your axle is, and then drop like a line straight down and measure that distance.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it might be the same, but it seems like mine are further forward.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing I noticed,
your clutch is kind of hard. I mean, it ain't terrible, but
I mean, your clutch is the easiest thing in the world.
and that's a stiff clutch because of the Recluse.
Oh yeah.
Like if you took the Recluse out of it, it would be even easier.
But
and
yeah.
like a two-stroke KTM, like you can pull those in with your pinky.
Really?
Like it takes no pressure at all in the clutch. That's a stiff clutch for a KTM.
Huh. Wow.
I had a little bit of trouble finding your brake pedal. Like your brake pedal's like in a different spot than mine. I was not able to get my foot on it easily. Matter of fact, I barely touched the back brakes because I just didn't hardly touch the brakes at all. Like this thing just off the gas, it slows down already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you got a Recluse.
Yeah. But what else did you notice?
It's a lot lighter than this bike.
It should be. I don't know what that weighs, but that's like, I think that weight on it's like 215 or 220.
Yeah, so this is like with fuel in it, it's close to 250.
Well, with
So
fuel in that one, that may not be that much difference. With fuel in it, that might be closer to like 235, 245.
Is it? Okay.
Maybe. I'd have to look up the specs.
I felt it light. I felt it like my older bike. And for the power, I think it's a great combination. You
So
know,
let me ask you this: if you think that if you ran another race on that bike, you'd be automatically quicker?
dude, if I race with that bike, and I mean, just with the Recluse alone, you got the advantage.
Yeah, because I don't have to touch the clutch lever at all unless I want to.
I mean, even on third gear, I rode through those woods on this bike,
Yeah.
and it was taking off fine. I mean, like it wasn't like bogging, so I barely like shifted.
Well, I think you'll see, even if you bought like the Honda 450, you would see a big improvement. Like, that's a legendary bike, and there's a big following for them. A lot of people like those old XR400s, but that's definitely. I mean, with the right person and the right setup, you can go pretty fast on one of those too. But I think you're at a disadvantage just on the bike.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I agree. I mean, just riding your bike, I think I'm totally in a disadvantage. Um, I mean, weight, uh, power, gearing, and I think I actually touched the floor on that bike.
Huh?
With I can put my foot down. I can plant my feet
Yeah.
on the ground, not on this one.
Oh, it's too tall.
So yeah, I mean, it's a nice bike. I really like it. It feels solid.
Well, I tell a lot. I think I even might have told you, or if it wasn't you, it was somebody else I was messaging uh, just in the last day or two. They were asking me about what can I do to get quicker, and I was like, the number one thing is you got to get the bike set up right. Like, if you're on a bike that's goofy, and I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've rode with people, and they're not bad riders, but they're not winning races. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we'll swap bikes, and man, I would do like one lap out here. Right now it's so muddy, it's slippery, it's hard to really get a real good feel of a bike. It'd be a lot different if it was dry ground and you could really rip.
Right.
But I'll get on their bike, man, and I could make one lap on here, and I'd be like, you couldn't pay me to ride that bike. It's
Really.
everything about it is off.
So, quick question: is this the worst bike you ever ridden?
No, but like, I'll tell you honestly, man, if you had a way to get a more modern bike, it would help you out. There's no doubt about it. There's no fucking doubt about it. The bike setup, man, it's just, do you know the guy, his name's Jason Klink?
No.
He's, he, he was at the Mid-East race on Sunday. He's name on Facebook right now is Jason Todd. He changed his last name. He was selling a bike, and one of the guys that was trying to buy the bike was like some shady, like looked like a gang member or something.
Okay.
He was like, I'm changing my name. I don't want this guy hunting me down.
Right.
But he just bought a 2017 KTM like mine, but as a two-stroke 250. And we went out to where the Mid-East race was Sunday. We went there last weekend while they were building the track. And we went out there and rode out in that parking lot and did a little bit of the trail. And I swapped bikes with him, and I was like, his bike was all wacky, and it was like it's the same year as mine. It should be real similar other than the engine difference.
Uh-huh.
And he had a problem with his carburetor, and I told him, I said, just bring it over to the house like one day next week, and I'll fix your carburetor and kind of go over your bike and stuff, set it up a little better. And like one thing, he had his brake pedal. You had to go way down with your foot before it ever really got brakes. And then his levers were perfectly straight up and down. You know what I mean?